The capital of Sweden is a cosmopolitan city with a tangled old town, stylish young districts, a dynamic city center spread across 14 islands on Lake Mälaren. Stockholm's very environment encourages you to rove and see where you'll end up. There are around 50 bridges in the center alone, while ferries are a fun way to get about. When it comes to fashion, design and music, Stockholm is well ahead of the curve, and many of the coolest places to shop and go out are on the island of Södermalm south of the center. The lion's share of the museums and family days out are on Djurgården, a wooded island where the city goes for rest, culture and fun. Let's explore the best thing to do in Stockholm. Number 1. Gamla Stan. Begin by going back to Stockholm's roots at one of Europe's great medieval centers, spread over 3 islands. You'll be in the midst of a true Hanseatic trading city, where gabled shops and warehouses are painted various shades of gold. These now host all manner of restaurants, many garnering international awards, as well as museums, studios, bijou boutiques, cafes and bars. On the eastern side of the old town, there's a long sequence of parallel cobblestone lanes leading in from the water and dipping under passageways. Number 2. Skansen. The visionary teacher and academic Artur Hazelius founded what was the first ever open-air museum in the world on Royal Djurgården in 1891. The idea was to show future generations what life was like in Sweden before the industrial age, and it has been borrowed by hundreds of museums around the world. More than a century, Skansen, it's still the best museum in its class, in 30 hectares, and with a large cast recreating rural scenes from all over Sweden down to the finest detail. Number 3. Vasa Museum. An awesome relic from the 17th century reign of the all-conquering King Gustavus Adolphus has been revived at this museum, the west shore of Djurgården. The Vasa was a 64-gun warship that went down on its first voyage in 1628. It remained in the deep until 1961, when it was lifted to the surface and slowly and painstakingly restored. The vessel has almost all of its original material and is the only 17th century ship of this scale to make it to the present day. And with the ship came a payload of artifacts that tell us what it was like to sail on the Vasa. Number 4. The Medieval Museum. In the 1970s, during the construction of an underground car park, builders happened upon some of Stockholm's medieval city walls. This is under the Norrbro Bridge and measures 55 meters, and is now one of the showpieces of the city's medieval museum. Here you can track the history of the city from its foundation in the 13th century to the 16th century at the end of the medieval period. Kids can dress up in armor, while other pieces of old Stockholm that came to light in the dig are part of the fun, like a 16th century warship and a medieval graveyard. Number 5. Royal Palace. With more than 600 rooms, Stockholm's Royal Palace is up there with the largest palaces in Europe. There are 5 museums in this mostly 18th century complex, which isn't just a historical relic. The King of Sweden still lives here. Most royal events and receptions happen at the palace, and all the various departments associated with the royal family operate in these plush environs. Number 6. The City Hall. One of the buildings that makes Stockholm, well, Stockholm is the City Hall, unmistakable for its 106-meter tower and spire. Composed of 8 million bricks, it's the perfect expression of the Nordic national romantic style and was inaugurated in June 1923, 400 years to the day after Gustav Vasa's arrival in the city. The dimensions of the spaces inside are spellbinding, most of all the Blue Hall, where the Nobel banquet is held every December. After dinner, there's a dance in the Golden Hall, which is adorned with 18 million gold mosaic tiles. Number 7. Gröna Lund. Djurgården is also the scene for Sweden's oldest amusement park, and although Gröna Lund first opened in 1883, it is very much up to date. New roller coasters are unveiled every few years, like the state-of-art Insane, on which you'll spend half the ride upside down. Another, Eclipse, is a swing ride more than 120 meters in height. Away from the white-knuckle rides, the littler visitors will have the time of their lives on teacups, carousels, bumper cars, and romping through fun houses. Number 8. Stortorget. A mandatory stop in Gamla Stan is the oldest square in the city at the highest point of the island. Stockholm's expansion in the High Middle Ages began at this very point, and you can be sure that Stortorget has seen some drama in its time. One was the Stockholm bloodbath of 1520, when up to 90 people were executed in the square by Danish forces. The cannonball in the wall at the corner where Skomakargatan joins the square is said to go back to this time. Number 9. Drottningholm Palace. One of Sweden's 3 World Heritage Sites is on the western outskirts of Stockholm. Drottningholm is in the French style and was conceived in 17th century. Refinements were made over the next few hundred years, and each successive monarch left his or her own mark on the palace. There are opulent salons from the 1600s, 1700s, and 1800s, but one of the remarkable details is the Palace Theatre, which dates to the 1700s and continues to stage performances to this day, unchanged. Number 10. Kungsträdgården. Behind the royal palace is a park that has something happening in all seasons. But Kungsträdgården is never more beautiful than in April, and its twin avenues of cherry trees are in bloom. Thousands of people show up for Korsbärsblommans dag, Cherry Blossom Day, in this month for a walk under those pink canopies. In winter there's a skating rink in the part of the park known as the Octagon, while if you pass by in summer you're sure to catch some temporary installation or festival.